I came semi-prepared with a bucket of tools. I'm over here at the Z to A compound, and Steven has graciously agreed to help me lift this monstrosity. This huge compressor that my wife and I were able to get to this point with just, let's see, we used engine hoist, towels, a floor jack, 2x4s, and
rubber ducky.
I did not have a rubber ducky. I should have grabbed one from my neighbor's Jeep. So we're gonna use it. Grab that.
I'm sorry,
And then we're gonna lift it. No. You do you, boo.
Okay.
So we're gonna use the lift to grab the compressor and lift it up.
Okay, you ready?
Sure. Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, okay, cool.
Something still attached? It's lifting your truck.
No,
Oh, there it goes.
There
There it goes.
Okay. Oh, I hope I got that on camera.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you did.
Oh.
That was a good one. How do you feel right now?
Oh.
You're bleeding too.
Am I?
Let me go back.
Yeah, we can move the chair just a little bit.
Down she goes. Men's lingerie, basement. What's that?
Nothing. You're good.
Ooh, got a head.
Down.
Yeah.
That is it. That is what I needed to accomplish. That was a huge feat.
Now we have to pivot this thing back with an extra 1,100 pounds on it. How strong are you feeling?
All right, so huge thank you to this big, strong man. Make a muscle. Come on, show the people at home. Show big muscles. There you go. Because we literally just did in half hour?
Yeah, 45 minutes.
45 minutes? What it took me 4 hours to somewhat do the first time the other day.
I can't believe you made Nicole put it on her back.
She's so much stronger than me because she's the athlete in the family. She says I'm not athletic anymore. So now, next up, I will show you why I just went through all the trouble to do this. Good morning, YouTube. I'm back to tell you about dry ice blasting. So I hinted in one of my last videos and gave you a glimpse of the machine that I bought, but I have moved some stuff around and sold my other business and started another one, and it's dry ice blasting. And you're probably wondering, what the heck is dry ice blasting? Well, if you're familiar with sandblasting, it's pretty much the same type of process, except sand is very abrasive and it's used to take off, you know, paint and some rust and stuff like that. It's very harsh. Whereas dry ice is literally just tiny little pellets of dry ice, and it's used mostly for cleaning. So it is non-abrasive. You're still using a giant air compressor, compressed air, and you're mixing the ice and air together like you would with sand and air and hitting your surface, except when the first pellet comes out, it's gonna hit whatever it is, that dirt or grime, and it's going to instantly freeze it, where the second pellet's going to hit that and just annihilate it. And that's how this process kind of works to remove dirt, grime, oils. So what does it take to blast with dry ice? Well, I'm going to show you my trailer setup that I've been spending a lot of time putting together, and I just got it kind of rolling down the road, and I've just gotten started with this process. So everybody's setup is different. This is the way that I chose to do mine because I'm a mobile service. A lot of high-end detail shops will have a system like this installed in their shop, so you have to bring your vehicle to them, put it on a lift, and you know, they'll do the underside, suspension, things like that, where I can go wherever I want, and I'm not limiting myself to just the automotive industry. Now, dry ice has taken off very quickly with detailers and things in the automotive industry, but the technology has been around for years and years. It's mostly used in restoration of buildings, homes that have been damaged by floods and fires and smoke and things like that. So my target audience is really anyone that needs anything cleaned. Industrial stuff, you know, of course, automotive, marine, power sports, There's so much stuff out there that you can use dry ice on. The process is amazing. I'm fascinated by it. I geek out watching all these videos of things being cleaned, and that's what drew me to this industry. Here's my setup. Basically what I've done is I've taken a utility trailer, and this is an Atlas Copco 110 compressor. This is a diesel compressor with a Kubota engine. I've got this giant, it's a cooler, but it's basically made to carry dry ice. This thing is about that thick. And then I put some E-track down so that I could kind of mount everything and strap everything down as I go down the road. I purposely left this area open because my plan is to carry my quick jacks in this area and strap them down so that if somebody wants suspension stuff done, I can bring those with me, put the car in the air just a little bit, pull the wheels and tires off, and do those areas in somebody's driveway or a parking lot or a shop or things like that. I also went and bought this steel job box. This thing is very, very handy. I've got all of my just my daily use equipment, you know, my respirator and goggles and gloves and hoses and whatever I need. I just kind of toss in here, and this is lockable. Then I carry a smaller cooler. As I'm getting started, you know, I'm not going to be booking jobs that need 500 pounds of dry ice. So you don't want to go sticking 100 pounds of dry ice in here, because all that space that's left over will allow that dry ice to turn back into a gas. And dry ice is solid carbon dioxide, and it's in a solid form, but it wants to become a gas again. So when you see dry ice and there looks like fog above it, that's the ice itself turning itself back into a gas. So I've got a smaller cooler. This holds right at 100 pounds of ice, and 100 pounds of ice will give me roughly an hour of blasting time with my machine. The biggest thing with dry ice blasting is you need to move a lot of air, but you need to cool it down and dry it. So the air comes out of my compressor through this black hose, comes around, it goes into this heat exchanger. It's basically a radiator with a fan on the back that kicks on, and it starts cooling that air as it comes up through these dryers right here. So what these are going to do is they're going to remove the moisture from the compressed air. Then you'll move down this hose into here. This is my super dry system, and it's going to remove any water that's left over and completely dry that air. So I've got clean, dry air coming out of this fitting through the hose to my machine. Both of these are on hand trucks, and I've strapped them down and bolted them down because right now I don't need to move them, but everything on this trailer, with the exception of the compressor, can be removed or moved around if needed to create a different setup. And here's my compressor. Now, this used to be on its own little trailer, and it was towed behind a vehicle. And a lot of guys will use that setup and just get like a little transit van and put all of this stuff in their van and then tow this behind it. I didn't want to do something like that because I towed this thing back from Austin and I couldn't even see it behind my truck. It was so small and sat down so low. So that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to have everything kind of contained in one area. So this obviously goes to my heat exchanger, and I just put a different fitting on here. So this is just for a regular air hose for air tools or something like that. And my heat exchanger, you can see the fan on the back there, and it's wired down through a box, and I ran the wire into here so it hooks into this battery. And what happens is, as this heat exchanger detects air coming in, it will kick on this fan and start cooling it down in this radiator before it sends it up through to the dryers. Here is the main portion of blasting ice. This is my dry ice energy machine, and the really cool thing about this particular machine is there's no electronics. It doesn't need to be plugged into anything. It is all mechanical. Basically what you're doing is you've got your hopper, you take this off, pour your ice in there. As this thing is pulling air, there's a piece inside that's kind of oscillating, and it's chopping up the ice, and you have different settings to allow a lot of ice through or to chop it up a little bit more fine and then send it through. And then you come out your hose here all the way to your blasting gun, and this is where you put your tip. And I have 3 different tips. One is kind of a flat nozzle, one's a very big open nozzle, and then one's a little bit more narrow. So it's a really, really cool setup, very well made. This is made over in Germany. This light on here, this came with a Maglite little light, roughly this size, but the light that was on here that came with it, it was not bright enough at all. And when you get underneath a car in a shop, it gets a little tough to see what you're working on. So I took that off and went and bought this one from Lowe's. This is actually a 1500 lumen light, and it is it feels like it's 10 times brighter than the one that came with the machine. So we're going to try this out for a while, and this light is actually rechargeable, so I don't have to keep replacing batteries. So that's really nice. Here's the back of the machine where my hose will come from my dryer and plug into the machine here, and then you've got your valve that opens. These, they call them whips, and they go on each side, and what happens is these are kind of pulled tight on the hose so that if this ever broke loose or blew off, instead of having that hose just blow around and hit something, this whip check is going to catch that hose and hold it somewhat near to that fitting. So it's a safety item, and I have these on all connections for my hoses. What I've done is I ordered 500 pounds of dry ice pellets. They're tiny little, I think they're 3mm pellets, and just started testing. I figured let's just start blasting away and see how this process works, see how well the dry ice works, start playing with the setting of the blasting gun and kind of dial it in. And these are some of the things that I started with and how it came out. Quite a few hiccups this time out. My compressor decided the alternator wanted to check out. So that killed the first battery, and we didn't figure it out until we had the second battery in. But now I know, so I got a fresh battery, get an alternator on the way, get that fixed up. You know, it's good to do testing like this because I found out now that these barnacles on these boats, while stubborn, it will take them off. I mean, it definitely worked really well. So I kind of hit this whole line right here going through. I ran out of ice, so there are still a couple spots on this line that haven't been blasted off. But for the most part, you know, all the way down, this part came out really nice. Even some of the plastic, you know, with these stains and stuff that were on the plastic came out really well. The wheel, the tire, the fender. I also came around here. You can see the biggest difference really is this whole area here and this area compared to, you know, everything over here. These barnacles are stubborn, they're tough, but the dry ice works. It's awesome. It's really nice to see results like this while you're working. Just kind of gives you that sense of accomplishment. A couple hiccups here and there, but that's what it's like when you start a new business and you're first getting going. Won't be the last hiccups, I'm sure, but I think those are probably the biggest ones I'll encounter for a while. So dry ice, it can clean just about anything. And I couldn't finish this video without thanking a couple people. Thank you to Steven from Zero to Awesome for letting me come over there and use his lift to situate that 1,100 pound compressor. And a huge thank you to Lucas Belt from Cryo Restorations in Southern California. He has been a huge help to me in this journey of getting started, and he's a wealth of knowledge and was always available to answer questions and got me set up with my equipment. If this is something you're looking to get into, send me an email, mrnobodiesgarage@gmail.com. I'm happy to share my experience and budgeting and things like that, because it's not cheap. So if you want to do this, make sure you have a very good budget, because there are so many things that will add up fast that you didn't think of, and before you know it, you'll be way over. But Lucas was excellent in getting my equipment and everything shipped to me very quickly, and I was able to get started pretty quickly. Thank you guys for watching. Stay hungry, stay foolish. If anybody from Dry Ice Energy sees this video, I love the machine. Very good quality. It's awesome. However, this thing, what is this? This plastic scooper that you sent in the box? It feels like somebody just ran down to like the dollar store and picked a bunch of these up to throw in the box. This thing busted on me like second use, so this is crap. I went ahead and ordered a stainless one on Amazon, and that's what I'll be using from now on, which is weird because I think I saw a picture online that showed a stainless one was supposed to come with it, but whatever. I got the plastic one, it's junk. I replaced it. We're good to go.